I think we're live, we're recording. I just like to introduce singer-songwriter Abhibyanjana. I hope I'm pronouncing the name correctly.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, super. So I just checked. I think this is episode 21, which is like a
Okay.
huge achievement for me alone because I never thought we'd get that far, and we'd be able to connect to so many artists and speak to them. So welcome again, and I think
Thanks a lot.
I think we'll dive right in. So you
Okay.
have a new EP coming out.
Mm-hmm.
I believe January 13th. Is it?
Yep, yep.
Okay. So I think can you give us like a little scoop on what the EP is about, like just generally?
Um, so the EP, okay, so Breezing Through is like this collection of a bunch of songs that I wrote over a few years. So
Right.
it's not like a concept album or anything like that. It's like a bunch of songs that I've had for a while that really needed to be out of my system, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Like it's like
it
I was
does.
like,
Yeah.
I need to like let this out so that I can move on to something else. So
Yeah.
for me, breezing through is like I wouldn't say like a stepping stone, but like the step that I need to take for something else. So I think I view this EP as a whole
Yeah.
as that, like a
Yeah.
movement to something else.
Sure.
Um, but like, but yeah, like individually, like each song in that EP is like a whole story in itself. Yeah, that's like just something, yeah, in itself.
Yeah, for sure. Because I think in general, I think a lot of people also go by like the same thought process. At least from artists I've spoken to, it's more about
Mhm.
like having the courage to just put things out there.
Mhm.
And I don't know who said that, but there's like the saying of someone saying that once you put out music, it's no longer yours. It becomes more of like a listener's thing. Do you kind of relate to that? Do you think like the song's not yours anymore once it's out?
I do believe that in terms of like art in general, like
Yeah,
I have that perspective that once a piece of art is out, whatever it may be, like
right.
it is up to the viewer, the listener, whoever it is to take whatever they will from it. So I do agree with that. Um, in terms of my music or like just music in general, yeah, sure. But like I feel like this is like a whole conversation in itself, but like I also feel like intention is pretty important.
Right.
So it's like there's no I don't know where I stand in this, to be honest. Like it's like a on and off here and
Yeah.
there for me.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's a pretty subjective thing, I think. I think
Mm.
I would totally understand if an artist did feel very strongly about particular songs and would like people to like get that exact context of what that song means rather than allowing
Mhm.
them to just like, take it in whatever context they
Yeah.
want. Yeah, I
I
think
think in that I think in that context, like in this specific context, the way you describe it, I am a little bit um I think like if I'm putting my songs out there, it's okay. Like whatever I wrote
yeah,
or whatever I was meaning when I wrote it is something that's for me. But what you hear and what you listen and what you interpret is completely valid. And I'm like, I don't have I don't I don't feel I have any control over how you listen to it. So like
yeah,
that's just what I think. Yeah.
works, works. Do you like to kind of uh, pick a genre when it comes to your music? Like, would you like to like call your music pop, or do you think it's an important thing even today, especially when like genres are like so fluid? Like a song can literally be electronic, pop, and
Yeah.
grunge together. Does that make sense, or that's something that you think about?
So I feel like, in my perspective, I feel like the entire defining yourself in a particular genre, I feel like it's like, how we categorize certain things in our head so that it's easier for us to like pick up something. Like it's just
Yeah,
easier to understand something, right? So I feel
yeah,
like categorizing ourselves in like these genres is just like a very, I'm almost lazy way of
yeah,
like being like, okay, this is indie pop, I'm gonna listen to it. But like,
right,
I personally would not want to be associated with like a single genre,
right,
of course, because what I'm writing and what is coming out, it's so different, and like what I'm intending is like so different. Like what's coming out is indie pop, but what I'm thinking is like maybe it's like punk rock or something like that. And
yeah.
so I feel like it's, of course, like that was just like a little bit of a leap, but yeah, I feel like genres sometimes can be a little bit, it is easier for people to, in this vast landscape, like so much music, it's easier, but like I personally would not
I think, yeah,
want to be like,
it kind of feels like a dying kind of like breed or like a dying trend, which like initially
hmm,
was so popular, but now it's just I think less and less people like to kind of box themselves into a particular style. Uh, yeah, I think that makes sense.
yeah.
Do you sometimes
Yeah.
feel like do you sometimes feel like a pressure of intentionally being different from like the kind of songs that you put out earlier? Like, is that like a
Mm.
pressure one feels? Because I mean, it just occurred to me that like Bob Dylan, like maybe it's, like always has like the same style of music. Like it's like maybe he did something different in like one off album.
Mm.
I could be wrong in general, but like almost like 90% of Dylan songs that I've heard, it's it's the same, right? Like it's the same style, it's the same aesthetics, and it's great. Like there's nothing wrong with that.
Mm.
But I feel like, like there's like an added pressure nowadays where like everyone's like, oh, I should not sound the same, and I should like jump to the other side of the room, like sound different to maybe catch more attention. Or
Mm.
do you feel that way inside, or you don't?
I think I have definitely felt that way, like for sure. Like, um, okay, first of all, I've always had this like weird kind of an insecurity like about music, like my music. So I'm always like, oh no, like when I'm putting this out, it's sounding this, like it's sounding great, but
Yeah,
after a point, I'm so tired of it that it sounds so like shit to me. And I'm like, oh no, like I just need another, like I need another go at another song
yeah,
that I can like change something.
yeah,
So for me, it's, I do feel that pressure, and I also feel like it's a, in the indie music like scene right now in India,
yeah,
I think it's like some, I think like a lot of artists, I think have that pressure because like I read somewhere, I don't know who it was, but something along the lines of going down the same rabbit hole of sounds. And I was like, I just had this thought that, it's okay if somebody wants to, sound the same.
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah. I think that's
yeah,
what
yeah.
that's what I meant. I think like I think if left to their own, like people wouldn't mind it, but it almost feels like an added pressure, like as an artist, because you're just so self-critiquing all the time that you think like people are probably bored of like your songs. But
Totally.
yeah, but it's also so hard to like stay away from the noise. Like we're so.
Mm.
I mean, there's so many artists that like I feel that they should have done something similar to like their last release. But I totally understand it because they're probably
Mm.
thinking they'd be forgotten and left to die if they make the same music. I think it's hard to stay in that context. Uh, that's cool. But
Yeah.
since you mentioned independent like scene, or like the current independent thing, like uh, how do you perceive it? Like as an artist, I'm assuming that you completely independent, like you do things like all on your own, so you don't have like a team.
Um.
That's like
So Okay, so I am completely independent in the sense that, okay, there's like a producer who
Okay,
I
yeah,
happen to collaborate with, and it's Tapanjyoti, and we've been working together. We initially started out as a collaboration in
right,
one of the songs that they produced. They wanted me to work with them,
right,
and it began like that. So it was, so yeah, we are like, and there's one other person, Rahul Rabha, who is the sound engineer. So the three of us work together.
right.
Um, but of course, like my outlook and perspective in the indie music scene, I feel like it's very, I would say like I feel like kind of like an outsider, if that makes sense,
Is it
because
is it intimidating? Like like at some point,
so like a lot, like it's yeah, I'm like pretty intimidated by it, and more than intimidated by it, I just feel like a little distant from it because I feel like
right,
it's dominated by a lot of Delhi, Bangalore, like the big Bombay, big city scenes. And I feel like as somebody who's like at this other, like this corner of the country, it's like a
right,
little
right.
far for me to like reach. If that makes sense. So
No,
like that's my
it
trick,
does,
I
it
guess.
does, it totally does because that's kind of like the common story with a lot of people actually because a lot of people basically start like in their bedrooms, like even the so-called big guys now, uh, everyone starts in in some way, but I so there are always different opinions, but there are a lot of people who think like the opportunities now are like a lot compared to what they were. But then there's also the other side of the story which says like, yo, it's just like too much noise or this is too much competition or like you gotta kind of like not sell yourself, but you kind of have to like compromise and do a lot of other things which some people may not be that comfortable with. But like
Mhm.
how okay, forgetting what you would do, what would be like your ideal uh if it was completely imaginary and in your head, like like
Okay.
like how would you like to play music to as many people as you could if everything was up to you?
Um, I just wanted to respond to your point about the lot of like a lot of noise, a lot of competition, but
Yeah,
also you can still make music from your bedroom, so it's still a lot of opportunities at the same time.
yeah,
So I feel like my opinion on that is a little bit radical in the sense that there is this perception that music is more accessible now, which it
right,
is. Like to produce music, it's more accessible now.
yeah,
But also at the same time, I feel like it's still like um you still need to be in this like position of like some sort of privilege to be able to even have to be like afford that kit or that like equipment and that
oh
entire
yeah,
setup to make
yeah.
stuff in your bedroom.
I think
So
that's
for me,
that's that's a really valid point. Yeah, that's all I wanted to
yeah,
check. Yeah. Please
yeah.
go
So
ahead.
for me, it's yeah. For me, it's like a little bit of like So my collaboration with the producer that I'm working with right now, who is a musician also, I mean, of course, uh, happened to be out of like some sort of like sheer luck, honestly. Like I haven't even met this person. Like I haven't
Really?
even seen this person. Yeah, like we
Wow,
haven't met ever, and we
that's
still like
insane.
managed to like communicate through text and like just like, oh, this is the song and this is how I want it to be and this is the reference and this is like the stuff, this is the demo, and then he's like, okay, so here you go, what do you think? And it's like, so it's just like wild because like it's been almost 2 years
It
now.
is wild. You know what? I feel like inviting him to the podcast. Like, I think like we should do like
Yeah.
a KBC and like because it is pretty radical actually. Like the way you
Mm,
put music together. I don't. I mean, I know people who do it remotely, but these are
mm.
people who knew each other, either like studied
Yeah,
together, or met and stuff.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It would be pretty crazy to send it to someone you haven't met and to even like what they're sending back because so many times like you
Yeah,
just send something and then they'd send something back and you hate it, you know, but then
Yeah.
you don't want to tell them and then you just stop. That's what I do. I just phase them out, you know, like I just stop replying because I'm completely,
You ghost them.
yeah, I'm completely chicken. Like
Mm,
I can't express
mm,
myself to them. But
mm.
but like you were saying, this is amazing. Like so was is your collaborator the same person you worked with for this EP as well?
For what? Yeah, for this EP. So, yeah, it's been 5 songs we have done together. That's like pretty much my entire discography right now. So it's like, so I
Hey,
think that's why I also have this thing where I feel a pressure to change my sound a little bit.
yeah,
So I feel like the next step for me is to, um, because this is the thing, like me as a musician, like as a live performer, I am very different from a musician in this production, whatever it is. So I want to bring out more of that side, like of myself through whatever I'm putting out next. So, like referencing back to the pressure of like sounding different or being different.
sure,
For me, yeah, it is a pressure that I have put on myself. Like it's like a thing like that's restless inside my chest. I'm like, I don't feel like I sound the way I think I should sound yet,
yeah.
and I need to like get there somehow.
Yeah.
That's how I feel it now.
I think, yeah, I think the self-doubt thing, I think it never goes, you know, like I think like
Mm.
even if you put out like the best album that people love, there'll be like a part of you that still thinks that I sound bad. You know? It's quite a tricky balance of it. Like, it, I mean, I've heard of like really accomplished artists, like you know, like also struggle with the same thing. So I think like I mean, it's easy to say, but I think like artists should also learn how to manage or basically just chill out, you know, like just make music, you know, without
Yeah, just relax.
yeah, like just make just so there's an interesting context. So like I follow this particular artist who I'm you know, unhealthily obsessed with. He's the guitarist from the Chili Peppers, and uh, he's quit the band 3 times. He's come back, and he had this story where he would be like he'd spend his time making like absurd music for like 3 or 6 months. And by absurd I mean like really absurd. Like he would, but his idea was you know like to build the habit of making music that is not based on any expectation from other people. So a lot of times when we make music, we're constantly thinking, will they like it? Will he like it? Will she like it? But then if you actually just make like like rubbish, like you know, just
Mm.
completely let you know like other things take over and just make it in a way to cleanse yourself. It's pretty difficult practice, but I thought it was very interesting. It kind of helps you also, I I guess, like rebalance or like restart, but it's
Yeah, I
incredibly
think
hard. I mean,
I do
I
agree with that.
yeah, yeah, go ahead, please.
Yeah, I agree with that because I think expecting something as an artist, like as a musician is putting out the music, for me it's always there. I don't know what I'm expecting to be honest. Like I right now I feel like I've come to a place where I'm like, okay, it's all right. I don't expect anything. Like I've just done my thing. Again, I'm not yet in that zen like place where I'm like completely like chill and I'm like not worried at all about what people think. Not yet there. But I feel like that extra stress of like, oh no, like it's I don't know, nobody's ever gonna listen to it and like there's only gonna be 5 people listening to it. I feel like that has like significantly like it's better now. So even if 5 people listen to it, it's okay. Like I've done my part.
Yeah, no, I think I can assure you that that's what like 98% of like all musicians think of. I think it's something you can't get away with. I think it's just human nature. Uh, you always do want people to enjoy your music. I don't think it's wrong with it. But yeah, that's interesting topic. Uh, my next question is, do you play all the instruments in your music? Uh, are you self-learned, or do you have some training in either like singing or playing an instrument?
Okay, okay, okay,
Because
okay, okay.
some of your
Um,
songs have I heard I hope I'm right, but I heard like piano on it. Of course, there's
mm,
guitar and then there's singing, but
mm.
what about drums? What about like other instruments?
Okay, a lot of these instruments are actually played by Kian, the producer.
Okay,
Um, if you listen to my older stuff, which is just like one song that I kind of just Groovy Girl. So like that's the
by the way, I have to say this, but I wanted to bring it up earlier, but uh, I don't mean to be rude, but like I really enjoyed Groovy Girl. Like maybe like so the first time I heard Groovy Girl was uh, like when I heard the other track, I think it was Winter Love, and then
mm,
I think part of the
mm,
description had your SoundCloud link, and I went there,
mm,
and then like any weirdo, like you like to see like the
mm,
like the oldest stuff, and
mm.
I heard Ruby Girl, and there was something about it. It was really nice. I heard it again today. So yeah, like good job on that. It's a great song. It's a nice song.
Thank you. It wasn't rude at all. I don't know what you like meant by that.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
rude in the sense like you had new music, but I was still talking about like the
Mm,
older one, But there was just something about it. I like for me
mm.
it was the way you were singing. It almost felt like like you didn't really care. It sounds like that, and I think that was what
Mm,
made it special. But yeah,
mm.
you were talking about the song really good.
Um, Yeah, so I think like the oh yeah, Groovy Girl. So those older songs are me playing like a lot of layers in the
Yeah,
guitar and all that stuff.
right.
This new stuff out, I haven't like played even a single one of these instruments. I
Okay.
am a trained guitarist, like I am like a trained classical guitarist.
Wow. Okay.
Um, yeah, and so again, like the story behind this is also like quite, it's not like profound or anything. It's just like as simple as like my guitar did not, I didn't have the, strat or the Fender that would give that tonality that I really wanted. And my friend had it. So it was like, you know what, let's do that. It
Yeah.
was like literally as technically simple as that. So
Right.
this is what happened with, yeah, DP. And I'm actually really, really like, mm, grateful that like Kian did that, and I'm just
Yeah.
happy. Yeah. Yeah.
But
um,
like being a little nosy, but like what about like chord progressions and things like that? Like
okay.
would you
Mm.
just like sing the melody to him and he would figure it out, or like he had
Uh,
mind in some way?
yes, so the songs are already like constructed. Like they're already written with the progressions, with
Right.
the
Okay, yeah.
entire structure. It
Of
exists,
course. Yeah.
and there's a
But
demo.
I mean, of course, yeah. Now I feel a little stupid. I thought you and your producer were like at this like another Zen level of like collaboration. You would just
No,
sing
no,
it,
no, yeah, not yet.
he would put like the chords together in real time.
Oh.
Okay. No.
Yeah, that's not how that happened. Yeah. So like I wrote these songs even before I ever met
Yeah.
the producer. So
Yeah.
like it's been there for a while. So it had its own flow, it had its own structure, it had its thing, the entire vibe. I think vibe is something that changes a bit, but like the progression, the structure is very similar.
Yeah.
And how was I saying? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you I think you answered like the question. You didn't miss out.
Mm.
Uh, I also wanted to just point out like I think it's so incredibly uh important to have like a collaborator who kind of understands or at least like listen,
Yeah.
uh, because I think it's just so underrated. Like because even with like a lot of artists, you have so many people that like help you with like little things, and that little thing can basically mean like the world to someone listening on the other side of the world. And it's super cool that like you and I didn't catch his name correctly. What is your producer?
Uh, Tapanjyoti Phukan.
Okay, is he from the northeast? Must be.
Yeah, he's from Guwahati.
Wow.
Guwahati. Yeah.
Very cool. I think I'm sure he has his own music and
Yeah. Yeah. They
awesome.
have a so actually there's a the collab stuff that actually kick-started this entire process is also coming up after my EP. It's a song we did together and they're called Neon Leaf. So
Okay, awesome. We'll probably try to link it or give some info to that, like along with the podcast like later.
yeah.
So next would be, do you have any plans? Like do you plan to maybe put in a performance somewhere, or uh, do you have any plans to like make your music more accessible to people other than just releasing the EP? Is there something on your mind?
Um so I just moved to Bombay, so I am like not exactly sure like the processes of like
Yeah,
going out there, putting yourself out there and getting a gig.
yeah,
But that's the plan. Like I just want to do like few shows here, like a
yeah,
few small gigs, whatever it is.
yeah.
That's what I want to do. Hopefully it works out. I don't know if it will. If it doesn't, I don't know. Like
Oh, of course
that's
it
the
will.
plans. Like that's a short term plan.
Yeah,
Um, in the long run, like I think honestly, I don't know. I'll just get a job maybe and then pay for my I don't know. Um, like I want to start producing like properly, like hands on. So
right.
that's like the stuff that I'm actually looking forward to right now.
So you mean producing other people's music, or
I'll start with my own, like my own music for now.
yeah?
Yeah. Uh, yeah.
So do you find it challenging to maybe go from putting music together now with the producer to transitioning to like a live setup, which could be like either only you or maybe like a drummer and like a bassist. Is that something that you find challenging, or you just think like no, it's not gonna matter that much since it's your songs and you can probably uh kind of like layer it in in a way that you feel most comfortable with. But does that feel like a
Yeah.
compromise? Is what I wanted to know.
Not at all. Like I feel like I'm more in control
Right.
when I'm able to do that. So it actually makes me feel a little more content. Like,
Sure. Okay.
okay, yeah, you heard me there, but like, listen to me here because this is also me, like,
Right.
in front of you, which is like quite, I don't know, like, it's, it feels a little bit more natural,
Yeah.
like more authentic for
Yeah.
me to be able to have that control. Um, so I like that feeling and I like that uh, about, I guess, doing gigs by myself, but also like meeting people, finding the people that you click with.
Hmm.
Live also is like a I think whole different thing, and like again being new in the city, like I'm just trying to figure out like how, where, what, who, so that kind of stuff. Yeah, that part it is definitely challenging, but also I see it as like an opportunity to be more myself, I guess.
Yeah, no, I think that was interesting because I think like in the previous podcast we were talking to these guys, and they mentioned that like they prefer making music like in like behind the scenes, basically like just produce
Mm,
music and put music out there, and they weren't too excited about like playing live. Of course, they had
mm,
technical issues also because they were sampling things and they had live instruments, non-live instruments. But it was interesting to know that like they just genuinely not interested. They were like, we're more than happy
mm.
with just putting music, making music videos, and like that makes us happy. But
Mm,
yeah, like a lot of people do like to play their stuff in front of an audience. And I wanted to ask you a question about the singing. It's
mm,
so you're not trained. Like, how does one just sing like that? Because you do have a good voice. Like, and
mm, mm.
like have you trained your voice? Is it nothing? It's just like you just wake up and start singing.
um, I haven't had like a formal training with my voice, like the formal training only happened with my instrument. And I think I kind of started singing when I was in like the final year of my school. And my friends would like, this friend of mine would make fun of me, like just jokingly, be like, "Oh, your voice is so like high," and all of that.
Yeah,
But I don't know. It was just, I just enjoyed singing along,
yeah,
singing, and I really enjoyed writing songs. So I was like, I have to sing the stuff that I write. So like,
yeah,
yeah, I don't know, like that's just how it went, and
yeah. And
that's just how it has been going on.
that's kind of fascinating because like a lot of people can play instruments, but
Mm,
they just sound bad, right? So like you just have to like work on it, like take vocal
mm,
training to like even get to speed. But then there's some people that I've spoken to like a lot of, and weirdly they're all females. I don't know if there's like a correlation there, but I think like
mm,
women just generally have close to like a singing voice than guys. I don't know, maybe maybe that could be off, but a lot of female
mm,
singers have just been like people who, oh no, like I just sing, like I and I
mm.
sound great, and I'm just like that's not how it works like that. Like
It's like,
yeah, it's like guys like I know guys who like train for like 3 or 4 years, like good singers. So yeah, I was just curious. Uh, so if you don't
thanks.
mind, yeah, you deserve it. But if you don't mind me asking, what do you study, or what are you doing in Mumbai, like in terms of
um,
other than music?
I'm doing my master's degree post grad in media and cultural studies. So it's in this.
Okay,
So that's what I'm doing. We study culture. We study about a lot of theoretical stuff and also like a lot of hands-on video production work.
okay.
So it's like that. Yeah.
Do you
Critical pop culture.
okay? So do you see yourself like making music videos for your music?
Yeah, I've actually been trying to make a music video since Groovy Girl, but somehow it just never worked out. And like every single time I'd be like devastated because like it just doesn't work out. And now I'm like, oh, that's how you make a music video. Like you need a script and then you need to like have a plan
Yeah.
and then do it. So now I have like a plan and I
Okay.
hope it's happens. Cause
Okay.
like yeah, like yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be. I mean, I know it's not easy, but I think that would be pretty exciting. Uh, like having a music video and making the music and putting all of it together. So hopefully you get
Yeah.
you get to see it sometime.
Yeah, let's hope so.
So we have, I think, 4.5 minutes left until
Okay.
the dreaded
Mm,
free plan gets over. So I think
mm,
I just wanted to thank you for like joining me and talking about your music, and hopefully when it's out we'll share it on our channel. Yeah, we look forward to the music. We look forward to more music, and hopefully a music video in 2023.
Thank you so much. I'm really glad that you called me. Like, this actually feels like such a big validation, even though I said I'm not gonna look for validation, but it still feels like one. So I'm
Yeah.
really glad you invited me. Thanks a lot.
No, absolutely. I think the whole idea is just connecting with people. I think and uh, I mean a lot of it is chance. Like I was surprised that you brought up like a lot of luck and chance and like in meeting people and collaborating with people. I think like Musicmandir is also on very similar lines where I mean there are people whose music I come across like extremely strangely, and it just
Mm,
blows my mind that these people are even there in cities that I have not heard of.
yeah.
So it's super exciting. And
Yeah, I think that's gone, gone, gone.
yeah, no, I meant hopefully we can have you on again uh,
Mm,
with
mm,
with new music or
mm.
with new stories.
Yeah, I also wanted to say that I feel like Music Mandir like seems like one of the really genuinely democratic music blogs websites. So I'm like really happy because like look like I don't know the effort that you take to like listen to like different voices from the different parts of India, like beyond India. I think that's really great. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean we try. Actually, I have like another colleague
Mm,
who normally joins me on the podcast, but he wasn't able to like
mm,
make it today. But I think
okay.
yeah, I think we do whatever little we can. I think everyone should do just a little, and spend the rest of the time
Mm.
enjoying rather than worrying about things beyond our control. So, anyways, we've got to wrap it up. Thanks again. It,
Okay. Thank you.
yeah, for sure. And hope to have you back again soon.
Yeah. Bye.
Okay, ciao. Bye.